and especially not going to a majority draw. This is a win for Manny Pacquiao. I'm just going to say it.
I don't think that Mario did enough to win. I don't think he did enough for a draw.
If you have world-class judges, why can't they make a decision? Why can't you go one way or the other? You know what I'm saying? A draw seems very weird to me. But
the boxing world is exploding right now. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this could be the most controversial decision we've seen in years. Manny Pacquiao's team has just filed an official appeal with the WBC after what many are calling one of the most disgraceful judging performances in recent memory. The legendary Filipino fighter at 46 years old stepped back into the ring after a 4-year hiatus and delivered what fans and experts alike are saying was a clear, convincing victory over WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. 2 judges scored it a draw at 114 to 114, while only 1 judge gave Barrios the edge at 115-113, resulting in a majority draw that has sent shockwaves through the entire sport.
Manny, the fans came out for you again tonight, but describe what you thought of the judge's decision.
I mean, I thought I won by split decision, like, you know, it's a close fight, but I thought I won.
Didn't look like a 46-year-old tonight. How did you feel inside the ring?
I feel good, like, you know, I feel happy, like, 2 months training, like, although short, but it's enough. Like, I mean, I want to train like 3 months or 4 months, but I start late because of the election in the country.
What worked for you tonight, and what was missing late in the fight?
Missing late in the fight, like the last two rounds, like I got cramps, probably by it's okay.
But the rest of the fight, you look great. What happens now, Manny? Because there was options for you moving forward. There was even talks of a Floyd Mayweather fight. What do you see going on next in you?
Oh, that's another story. Like, let's talk about it. Like, you know, good for me. Like, I'm in shape again.
Do you feel that you have what it takes to be a world champion once again?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I can still do it. For 2 months training, 4 years lay off, and then 2 months training. Like, you know.
Let me break this down for you, because what happened in that ring versus what the scorecards showed is so wildly different that it's got everyone, from retired champions to hardcore fans, calling for a complete overhaul of boxing's judging system. Pacquiao, who hadn't fought since his loss to Yordenis Ugas back in 2021, looked absolutely stunning against a fighter who's supposed to be in his prime. We're talking about a performance that defied Father Time itself, with the Pac-Man showing flashes of the speed, power, and ring IQ that made him an 8-division world champion.
I know you enjoyed the fight, but I thought, you know, although the decision is not really favor to me, like I'm sad, but I did my best. Being a no fight for 4 years, I'm happy for my performance tonight. So thank you to all your support.
But the judges, they apparently watched a completely different fight than the rest of us. This decision has denied Pacquiao what would have been one of the most historic comebacks in boxing history, and Lee's team is not taking it lying down. The appeal has been filed, and they're demanding a full review of the scoring that could potentially lead to a rematch. This is about more than just one fight result. This is about the integrity of professional boxing itself. After the final bell rang and those scorecards were read, Pacquiao stood in that ring completely unapologetic about his performance. And honestly, why should he be? The man looked his interviewer dead in the eye and said, "I thought I won the fight. It was a close fight. My opponent was very tough." But here's the thing. When you look at the actual statistics, it wasn't even that close. CompuBox, which tracks every punch thrown and landed during professional fights, painted a crystal clear picture that completely supported P.
Here comes the I feel I won. Me and my team feel, that we won, and we're very proud of what I showed, and I'm still just thankful to be holding my title.
I think although my performance is good tonight, but I'm not satisfied of my combination tonight. I should throw a lot of punches and more aggressive to knock him out. I thought that after the 12 rounds, I won the fight. Like my analysis, like I won 8-4. That's my analysis for the fight.
Get this. Pacquiao landed 81 power punches compared to Barrios' 75. That's not just a slight edge. That's a significant advantage from a fighter who's supposed to be past his prime against a champion in his athletic peak. But it gets even better when you break down the rounds. The middle rounds of this fight belonged entirely to Pacquiao, and anyone with functioning eyeballs could see it. His legendary trainer, Freddie Roach, who's been in this game for decades and has seen every type of fight you can imagine, scored the bout 8-4 for Manny. 8-4. That's not a close fight. That's a dominant performance disguised as a draw by incompetent judging.
But the thing is, I'm surprised with the announcement. It's draw. So I did my best in the ring. The fans is it's so happy of my performance, but don't worry, Pac-Man is back, so I'm still here. Most of the fans, they're expecting that, they thought that I won the fight. And although at age of 46, the Pac-Man is still there, still giving a good fight to the people, to the fans, That's why I'm so thankful to God, because He gave me the strength and good health.
Despite this absolute travesty of a decision, Pacquiao's resolve hasn't wavered one bit. He's made it clear that he's seeking a rematch, and at 46 years old, he's still committed to extending his legendary career and inspiring his people through boxing. The man came back after 4 years away from the sport and showed he still has that fire burning inside him. But the real question is, will he get the justice?
The gambling aspect, I don't know. I mean, how does Manny lose cleanly? If you have world-class judges, why can't they make a decision? Why can't you go one way or the other? You know what I'm saying? A draw seems very weird to me, but I'm very proud of Manny because he spent 7 weeks preparing for this. The guy ran for an election for 3-4 months, did not train at all, did not fight for 4 years. The guy I watched put 7 weeks of training in. It's incredible. And to be robbed of the chance to make history, it's just sickening. I hate this sport. I really hate boxing. This is the ugly side of it. This is the side I've done it for 37 years, makes me just want to get out of it. Because it's so sad to me. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the rematch that they asked Barrios about?
Fuck Mario Barrios. Who the fuck wants to see him? Manny Pacquiao beat Mario Barrios. Fuck Mario Barrios. Not in a bad way, I like it. But fuck him. Manny Pacquiao beat Mario Barrios. Why should he? What does he need to fight again? If Manny wants to continue fighting, there's fighters like Rolly Romero. There's fighters like Javante Davis. There's guys out there. But I would never, well, let's say never, it's not my decision, it's Manny's. But when you do what you did and win a fight like that.
Now, if you thought the fighters were upset about this decision, wait until you hear what the promoters had to say. MP Promotions CEO Shawn Gibbons went absolutely nuclear in his post-fight reaction. And I mean, he held nothing back. Gibbons denounced the result as clear evidence of boxing's dirty side, and his words are going to send shockwaves through the entire industry. He didn't just disagree with the decision, he called it what it was. Highway robbery in broad daylight. Gibbons reinforced what we all saw with our own eyes, pointing to that same statistical advantage. 81-75 power punches landed in Pacquiao's favor. He emphasized how Manny dominated those crucial middle rounds, the rounds that typically decide championship fights. But here's where it gets really intense. Gibbons didn't just call it bad judging. He accused the sport of unfairly denying Pacquiao victory through what he called questionable scoring practices. Those are fighting words. in the boxing world.
Tim, did you think Pacquiao won that fight? It was good
Manny Pacquiao won. Yes, I did. I'm not a judge, but it's clear to me and clear to my eyes. And it's a shame. It's a shame for boxing. Two judges who, you know, can't decide who the winner is. Really? Barrios the champion. I guess you have to beat the champion, and I guess in their eyes they didn't clearly do that. But to me, it was an astounding, amazing, outstanding performance by a 46-year-old man. This is one of the all-time great performances.
But wait, it gets worse. Gibbons claimed the draw reeks of biased judging and political influence behind the scenes. Let that sink in for a moment. He's essentially saying this wasn't just incompetence. This was corruption. His exact words were, "This isn't just a fight result. It's a stain on boxing's integrity." When a promoter comes out swinging that hard against the establishment, you know something is seriously wrong. The demands coming from Pacquiao's camp are unprecedented. They want an immediate investigation and full transparency in all scorekeeping procedures. This isn't just about one fight anymore. This is about the future of professional boxing and whether fans can trust that the best fighter actually wins. Gibbons' comments have ignited a firestorm of debate about the sport's desperate need for comprehensive reform and accountability. The gloves are off, and the war for boxing's soul has officially begun.
You know, listen, we've seen Manny on the end of bad decisions before. Timothy Bradley, excuse me. The Jeff Horn fight, you know. Shout out to Tim. I know how you feel about that. Family.
All right.
But this is what he's got to deal with. You can't go through a camp, do what you just did right there. We saw all the heart, everything that we've always seen from Manny, and this is the result. Shout out to Mario. He made the fight difficult just from being a big guy who is a better boxer than I realized. Came to the ring with a true game plan to try to box and be patient, find openings and things of that nature. I don't think that Mario did enough to win. I don't think he did enough for a draw. I think that there was a lot more that he could have done. But the main thing is the style that he chose to box was actually a good style to use against Manny Pacquiao. They were saying that they were going to come right to the middle of the ring, and they did. But they came to the middle of the ring, and then they circled, they moved, they worked behind the jab. Not enough jabs, not enough of everything for Mario.
The reaction from the boxing community has been swift and brutal. And leading the charge is retired two-time welterweight champion Shawn Porter, whose visible fury over this verdict is absolutely palpable. Porter didn't mince words when he called this decision a slap in the face to the fans and an insult to sports justice. Coming from a former champion who understands the nuances of championship-level boxing, those words carry serious weight. Porter's technical analysis completely demolished any argument for Barrios winning this fight. He pointed out that Barrios never actually took control of the fight at any point, and his inconsistent bodywork made it nearly impossible to award him rounds. Porter was emphatic in his assessment. "I thought Manny won. Thought he won hands down." When a former world champion says a fight was won hands down, that's not a close decision. That's a robbery.
We are back on the Way Concept presented by The Ring Magazine. And folks, I just watched Manny Pacquiao, that's right, 8-division world champion and 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao, off a 3-year layoff Manny Pacquiao, off a loss before the 3-year layoff Manny Pacquiao, go to a majority draw with a world champion in a title fight in 2025. What the just happened? The breakdown. Let's go.
He is the star of Wade Concept.
So like I said, Manny Pacquiao, 2025, fighting for a world championship is not something you expect me to hear. Number one, especially off the 3-year layoff, especially at 147, especially off a loss, and especially...
But Porter didn't stop there. He labeled the scoring as nothing less than bad judging and incompetence, criticizing the judges for their apparent lack of understanding of the sport and their failure to grasp the nuances of Pacquiao's fighting style. Porter's reaction represents the widespread disillusionment that's spreading throughout the boxing community like wildfire. The outrage from fans and pundits across the boxing world is reaching a fever pitch. And it's showing no signs of slowing down.
Not going to a majority draw. This is a win for Manny Pacquiao. I'm just going to say it. Tonight he fought Mario Barrios on PBC, on Amazon Prime Video for the WBC World Championship. Mario Barrios, I like the guy, but it has to be said, when you have two of your last title defenses ending in a split draw and a majority draw, you may be the worst title holder in boxing right now. I'm sorry. That's not comparing him to being a shitty boxer. It's just saying that as of right now, he might be the worst world champion in boxing. It may be one of the worst I've seen in a while. Also, kind of unrelated, this kind of looks bad for Tank Davis's record, because that was supposed to be a stalwart win on Tank's career when he moved up to 140 and beat Barrios for the belt there. But now it's not looking so good, because 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao just went to a majority draw, and you can argue that Manny Pacquiao should have won the...
The industry analysis has been equally damning, with Wade Concept host Wade Plemens offering a perspective that somehow makes this whole situation even more controversial. Plemens framed the result as a moral victory for Pacquiao, but his analysis of why this happened is absolutely devastating for Barrios and the current state of championship boxing. He emphasized the incredible significance of what Pacquiao accomplished, a 46-year-old fighter coming off a 3-year layoff and outperforming all expectations against a reigning world champion.
Winning up until the later rounds. Let's talk about it. So, like I said, Manny Pacquiao off the 3-year layoff, 46, didn't look great against Ugas in his last one. You had to think, okay, well, Barrios beat Ugas kind of decisively. This is going to go one way and one way only. Barrios potentially by stoppage or decision. That's not what happened. Barrios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear.
Here's where it gets really
Manny was
brutal
hitting
for
with
Barrios. Plemens delivered a scathing assessment of the champion's tentative fighting approach, pointing out the complete lack of urgency you'd expect from a defending champion. Think about that for a second. You're the WBC welterweight champion. You're in your prime, and you're facing a legend who's been out of the ring for years. You should be looking to make a statement, to prove you belong on the same level as the all-time greats. Instead, Barrios fought like he was afraid to engage.
Keith Thurman on his ass in the first. Oh my God, it's an experience, and it's another element opponents have to face. And then all of a sudden, Manny just starts cooking. He's just like, and Freddie said it, like he has this good 6th round, and Freddie Roach is like, you get him with a 5-punch combination, I think you can get him out of here. Now, I don't know if he was ever at that point. I can't say that Barrios was ever really in danger, but I think Freddie was right. Like, I just think that if Manny showed the threat, I just think it froze Barrios for all these rounds, and so he had a run of like 4 straight. And at my point, he's up on the scorecards, 87-84, which meant all he needed was one more round in my mind. And I was pretty in line with the TV broadcast. I think that we had a little bit of a swing on 8. I think 8 was a little closer, or 9 was a little closer, excuse me. But all he needed was one more round. And
The criticism got even sharper when Plemens pointed out that this was Barrios' 2nd consecutive title fight ending in a draw. He didn't hold back, suggesting that Barrios might be the weakest active world champion in boxing today. That's a devastating assessment for any fighter, but especially for someone who's supposed to be representing the proud tradition of the welterweight division. Plemens characterized Barrios' performance as being marked by hesitation and minimal offensive output, raising serious questions about his credibility as a champion, and what this says about the current state of the welterweight division.
And mind you, I bet on him, but I was like, Barrios comes out in the 10th. His trainer's like, hey, man, you can't respect this guy. And it's tough because Manny pulls these tricks like where he's like trying to, delay coming out of the ring because his tape's messed up, or he's like messing with the guy saying, hey, you're hitting me low. And even the ref had to be like, Manny, I'll determine if he's hitting low. But he's so charming. You just look at him and you're like, I can't get mad at him. But Barrios comes down that 10th, has some really good body work. And you're like, all right, I think he took that one. So then it's 96-94. Get to the next round, Barrios, he has some that was the closest that you could have probably leaned Pacquiao, in my mind. But Barrios had some flurries. It just looked like he was getting better of it. It kind of looked like Manny was starting to wear down a little bit.
Regardless of how this appeal plays out, one thing is crystal clear. Manny Pacquiao has proven that he remains a formidable force in the boxing world. The anticipation for his next career move is building, and the overall impact on the sport's integrity has sparked discussions about future reforms that could prevent travesties like this from happening again. This isn't just about one fight. It's about the future of boxing itself, and whether the sport can regain the trust of fans who are tired of watching their heroes get robbed by incompetent officials who seem to be watching completely different fights than the rest of us.